Alright, so thank you for the Gogeta compliments about my hair. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's one thing. One of my abusers, I'm starting to see the muscles now. One of my abusers, I thought that he was just saying that because anyone would have thought that everything that came out of his mouth in regards to me was condescending. So when he was serious and genuine, I never knew when he was. I never knew when he was serious enough. But yeah, he used to always say, "Look at all those muscles." And hindsight, I kind of see it now. God is still working on my ghost, so I'm fully confident now. I just have ghosts. I have ghosts that Roderick. I should talk about Roderick now. I should talk about him and Tyson. Okay, so Roderick and I kept my boyfriend's secret from Roderick because Roderick was the husband in all of our lives. We didn't know it, but Ed was a Rolling Stone. My uncle Ed was a Rolling Stone, and he left Roderick in charge. Roderick was the man of the house, so that's why Roderick showed his ass a lot. I didn't know that at the time. That word again, hindsight. God is just now showing me this through meditation. And I should read you some scripture because I'm not quite strong enough to tell you all the way about Roderick. So let me get strength from the, I'm going to read from Revelation backwards. Hang on a second. Oh shit, different shit going on is what we got. Okay, so I'm not quite strong enough to talk about it, so I'm gonna pray for strength. This is a continuation of the Roderick sagas. The two of them. Alright, so let's see. I want to. I'm not really sure where we are. Yeah, I remember now where we left off at, and I will show y'all something. Let's see if we can do this. Alright, so now we left off at Revelation 19, Songs of Victory in Heaven. After this, I heard what sounded like a vast crowd in heaven shouting, "Praise the Lord! Salvation and glory and power belong to our God. His judgments are true and just. He has punished the great prostitute." I don't remember seeing that before, but this is a different version than I'm used to. "Who corrupted the earth with her immorality. He has avenged the murder of his servants." And again, their voices rang out. "Praise the Lord. The smoke from the city ascends forever and ever." Then the 24 elders and the 4 living beings fell down and worshiped God, who was sitting on the throne. They cried out, "Amen, praise the Lord." And from the throne came a voice that said, "Praise our God, all his servants, all who fear him, from the least to the greatest." Then I heard again what sounded like the shout of a vast crowd, or the roar of mighty ocean waves, or the crash of loud thunder. Spooky. I got goosebumps. "Praise the Lord, for the Lord our God, the Almighty reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice, and let us give honor to him, for the time has come for the wedding feast of the Lamb, and his bride has prepared herself. She has been given the finest of pure white linen to wear, for the fine linen represents the good deeds of God's holy people. And the angel said to me, "Write this: Blessed are those who are invited to the wedding feast of the Lamb. And he added, these are true words that come from God. Then I fell at his feet to worship him, but he said, no, don't worship me. I'm a servant of God, just like you and your brothers and sisters. I need something to drink. Hang on. Who testify about their faith in Jesus. Worship only God, for the essence of prophecy is to give a clear witness for Jesus. The rider on the white horse. Then I saw heaven open, and a white horse was standing there. His rider was named Faithful and True. I can actually see this for some reason. It's the omens. I've never seen it so clear than I am right now. The white horse. For he judges fairly and wages a righteous war. His eyes were like flames and fire, and on his head were many crowns. A name was written on him that no one understood except himself. He wore a robe dipped in blood, and his title was the Word of God. The armies of heaven, dressed in the finest of pure white linen, followed him on white horses. I'm going to try to lay down because I am tired. From his mouth came... Where did it go? Where did I leave up? A sharp sword to strike down the nations. He will rule them with an iron rod. He will release the fierce wrath of God, the Almighty, like juice flowing from a winepress. On his robe at his thigh was written this title, King of all kings and Lord of all lords. Then I saw an angel standing in the sun, shouting to the vultures flying high in the sky, come gather together for the great banquet God has prepared. That sounds nice. Come and eat the flesh of kings, generals, and strong warriors of horses, and their riders, and all of humanity, both free and slave, small and great. Then I saw the beast and the kings of the world and their armies gathered together to fight against the one sitting on the horse and his army. And the beast was captured, and with him the false prophet, who did mighty miracles on behalf of the beast. Miracles that deceived all who had accepted the mark of the beast and who had worshipped his statue. Both the beast. God, I'm tired. Jesus. I remember my landlord did this. We had to go through my leasing agreement. He said, by law, I got to go through this. Tony Harper, he had a Coke. He said, I got to have a Coke. I got to have Coke to get through this. Is Coke. Whew. All right. Both the beast and his false prophet were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur. Their entire army was killed by the sharp sword that came from the mouth of the one riding the white horse, and the vultures all gorged themselves on the dead bodies. Oh, dear God, that was gut-wrenching. I'm tired. Okay, so we left off on 19. So, I'm going to tell y'all something. That memory hit me for a reason. I hadn't thought about Tony in a lifetime. So, wherever God is taking me next, housing-wise, it's going to be exciting because I have not thought about it. It's a good memory. It wasn't all good when I was living in those apartments that he rented to me where I paid my own rent. And I was working a couple different jobs to stay off the streets. And I actually completed my 3-year lease. It was a 3-year lease. And I don't remember if I just kept signing it every year or if it was a 3-year lease. Probably kept signing it every year. But that last year, since I didn't have a job, he didn't renew it. He did me a favor. I didn't see it that way at the time because I was in I told you my background. So that's life in general. Sometimes if God hasn't enriched you, if you're not at the level, we all reach levels of life at different speeds. So maybe you're right on time. That's all I can tell you. My uncle said, about pregnancy. He was to my marriage, and our jobs, and he looked at me and said, you know what? According to God's watch, you're right on time. Because he said, look at all those years you spent on this job, that job, this guy, that girl. But he said, you know what? Kind of did it like that because he ain't got most of his teeth. Roland, he was at Reverend Roland J. Meyer. You know what? According to my watch, you right on time, right on God's time. And then this, we both went into Negro mode of the Southern Baptists, and we used to have, me and my uncle. I never told anyone other than maybe. I never told anyone, actually. Me and my uncle used to have Bible studies. He used to preach, and it wasn't just me. He had Bible studies with other people, and they were quite nice. And at first, that's just another story for another time. I got my hands full with Roderick. And that old scoundrel Roderick. So, Roderick and Tyson, I don't know whose idea it was to go to play pool that night, and Buffy was there, and I really don't want to get on that either. And there was a couple of women with it. I don't know what the dynamic was, if it was a double date, but I know Tyson was with me. And I hate to name drop, but I don't know the other way to get the story out there to you. And we had, I don't know if it was off again or on again at that night, but I know. I don't remember who started it or who first, but Roderick and Tyson got into a fight. Cousin Roderick, this is one of the many, like Rick James and Charlie Murphy. This is the Roderick. This is the different Roderick. I didn't get into this earlier this morning because it's difficult to talk about. Roderick, I told you how he got into it with Ed, and I told you how he got into it with me. I told you how this is the third fight. I might die before this gets to you because there's so many stories I could tell you about Roderick. And so not sure who started with who, but Roderick got he's always had the size of an ostrich would hatch a egg, and I was always afraid to bag on him about it because I didn't want to Mama put this fear in me growing up that if you talk about people, you somehow morph into what you pick on people about. So the different things our parents tell us to scare us. So I was scared too. I did it anyway. I picked on everybody, and not a bully, but I love telling jokes and stuff. But anyway, that was just one topic I stayed away from. That one particular time, that one particular thing, I just said, maybe Mama's right. I don't want to have a big egg on my head like Roger, but the shape, right there, it was like a birth defect. And then I don't know if he couldn't grow his hair. He didn't do anything, he didn't wear hats. He didn't do anything to cover it up. So we always knew it was there, but we were so scared of him that we never said nothing about it. But the night, I don't know who started the fight with who. And I don't know what it was about. But all I know is, you know how it is in bars can be very distracting. Next, I just thank God that I wasn't directly involved. Next, all I know is the two jokes that stood out the most to me. That they were like Nick Cannon blazing each other. I forget what you're wilding out. Tyson took the gloves off because one thing you don't do with a dark-skinned person is these are not fighting words. These are killing words. You about to die tonight. If you would talk about how black a dark-skinned person is, you decide to use that and you're wilding out. You want to blaze a dark-skinned person. So Tyson had on some black, I recall it now, some black flip-flops on. And then Roderick was like, oh, yeah? Well, you black as them sandals right there. I'm thinking, oh, that was my face. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to die. Because he's my cousin, and I don't know how he got there. I don't know. And I was just like, I'm going to die tonight. Because Tyson would love to go around picking on people, but he could dish it. Best way to describe him and Roger, they can dish it, but they can't take it. You ever met somebody who can dish it but can't take it? They are not. They're sore losers. And so next thing I know, oh yeah, that's Tyson. What about that big old egg on your head? And I was like, Oh, the whole bar said, "Damn." And then for the first time in my life, Roderick was quiet. He was quiet all the way home. And I remember talking to him a couple days later about it. And I remember Tyson didn't do it the right way, but he got me thinking. He was like, "I think Roderick wants to fuck you. I think Roderick don't know how should I say this? Get on a woman." But so he's like, "I think that's his problem with me. I think that's why we got in that fight." And he said, "I think you should talk to him." So this is not how a man should put a woman in a position of, but I didn't have any other choice. He told me, "You need to talk to your cousin for me." So he made me go talk to him, try to smooth it over. So I said, "So Roderick, so that's me, like a dude, like I can't say the N word, so like a dude, I'm like on the phone. I don't know if I tried to talk to him in person and he refused to see me, and I believe it was something like that where he didn't want to talk about it. And I was like, "Do you like?" I didn't say want to fuck me because again, this is Roderick. Added this guy's like Looney Tunes and belligerent, so I grew up with him. We grew up together. I know him, he knows me, we know each other better than anybody else. It's a couple of people like that I grew up with, who hasn't grown up with some people who are like the Achilles. So we used to sleep in the same bed together. And when we was kids. So I've never confessed that to anybody. I honestly forgot that we used to do that. It was all at our kids' little, when I was a child myself. I'm not sure if it was high school age, but we used to sleep in the same bed. And sleepovers. We used to always have sleepovers together. Our family, the Myerses, and the Montgomerys. And I could tell you some stories about then. It wasn't funny, but now I look back and I laugh. Anyway, one day I'm going to tell y'all everything about Ed and his accent. I don't know if it was, I ain't got the strength to talk about his dad, so. And I said, "So Roger, what was it about? What was going on with you, man? I try to you gotta, try to get inside their head, try to empathize, try to have empathy, even though it was foul on both sides. They shouldn't have put me in the middle of that." So Tyson said, "You like me in a way that's like more than cousins, like romantic way." And I remember, I can remember him laughing like, "Oh man, cousin," I was like, he said something like he put it off like. And I don't know what he said, but whatever he said, like a dummy, I fell for it. I was like, oh, and I said, I knew it was something like that. I figured something like that. And I don't know what, it was something slick that he thought up to throw me off. So I was like, I knew it. He knew I would take his side over Tyson. That's what it was. And I was like, see, that Tyson just trying to start stuff. I knew you didn't want to date me. I'm your cousin. And so I took, it was one of the moments where you had to take somebody. When it come to he say, she say, you got to take somebody's side. I took my cousin's side, and that was wise because Roderick is crazier than Tyson. I didn't know it at the time, but that's probably why I took his side. Alright, so you like I said, so that's all there was with and they never was right after that. It never Roderick went away for a while. Like I know that sounds like something you only see on a white movie with a white family, but this person went away and you don't know where they went. They probably went to some kind of like pregnancy camp or some kind of mental home, but that's what I'm telling you because everybody knows that Montgomery is a wealthy name. So they sent Roderick away somewhere. I don't know where he went for a little while. I don't even know if he graduated high school or not. He might have. But I remember Roderick was disappeared for a while, and the family knew about it. And Roderick, he wanna. And it's funny now, but when people say it on the movie, it's scary because you're like, they sent the crazy one away. They probably should have sent me away for a while. Would have helped me out. But that's okay. I don't need them. I can get my own mental counseling now. Get my own help. So yeah, cousin Roderick went away for a little while, and when he came back, he was worse. You know, wherever he went was supposed to make him better, and it was worse when he got back. And when he came back, he had muscles, and I remember he was walking around with his shirt off all the time, and just walk around me and like with literally nothing on, walk around me nothing on but some not boxers, gym shorts with no drawers on, just walking around, you know, his house, but like, you know, I'm coming over and you ain't wearing. So it was just, it got weird when he came back, and we was high school age, and he walking around, you know, I'm a horny teenager. He walking around me, you know, so it was, oh Lord, just bad memories. So I can't, for the love of God, not really. I won't rule out, you know, the cops might make me talk to him. Like if I could see, you know, one thing he did for me that nobody else in my old life did, other than Buffy. Even though they're both condescending when they said it, I didn't know it then, but I know now because I've been going through counseling. They meant it. They were just condescending when they said it. He said, "You know what, cuz it's something you didn't know." I put myself out there first. I said something. I complimented him in some way. I don't remember what I said, but he said, "You know what? It was the other way around. You looked out for us." It was like all of a sudden hard, like, you know. And you know something else? Not only did I feel protected with you, I looked up to you. Like, he said everything but you're my hero. And I don't know what happened after that, but he and I don't even know how much about him is true from what he told me. And but two of us had a bad home life. We had a trauma bond, and some of those talks he used to have with me were quite disturbing from what I can recall. And thank God I don't remember most of them, but I remember his mother used to get on to him, and Buffy used to make it worse and make fun of him. They all used to come in there. I used to go in that back bedroom and hide, because that's where my mom took us when she didn't want us. She took us over to my Aunt Edna's, which is why I never ratted out my family to DHS, because my aunt kept us out of the system. And you understand more by and by now that I'm older. I would go in that back room and hide. I forgot whose bedroom that was, and then all the other kids would come in there and find me and want to talk about their problems. It took Michael to tell the story. I forget how Michael's related to the Montgomerys, but he said, "I remember you as a child." He was such a creeper. He said, I'm Michael's daddy. So I guess named his son Michael, and he goes, he's on the Montgomery side. He goes, "You were like the overseer, you like the, again, condescending." I didn't know he was complimenting me. He said, "Yeah, I remember you looking out for the other kids." And so that's what I did. I didn't know I was doing it at the time until I grew up, and then they would come back in that room where I was hiding it from the trauma. I don't remember everything that happened to us, but I would go in there and hide, and the kids would come back there and talk me to death for counseling. Buffy made fun of Roderick. I didn't know it at the time because he was cutting into her time talking to me. Again, these two like to talk, and I don't get a word in edgewise to talk about my problems. Explains why I'm so screwed up then and so screwed up now. So Edna would come back there and get on to him. "Roderick, you late for school." I never snitched on him. She didn't know what we were doing back there. She probably thought we were messing around. I don't remember. If we did, I'm blank. It was so traumatic to her, I don't remember. But she did. I can remember her now coming back there, getting on to him. He would come back there and be so excited to see me. You would thought Santa was there, or his wife. I remember they had a little ironing board. He'd come back there and they'd iron his clothes. And they just should have never put us through what they put us through. The boy is really mentally severely screwed up because we should have been. I didn't know any better. None of us knew any better because we were kids. We should have just took our chances with DHS. But everything happens for a reason. If God wanted me in the system, we would have. I wouldn't know any. I wouldn't know. My background is so traumatic. You know, we could have been in the system because we don't look anything alike. Me and none of us look anything alike. So none. And then the new kids that's coming up look nothing like none of us either. So I'm trying to think at least one more thing on Roger. Not the counseling. I'm not strong enough to get into deep on the counseling. So this would be a good time. This would be a good way to end it on Roderick. If we have time, we'll get into more things. So Roderick, I don't know if it was a Dreamcast, whatever system was out. Roderick finally found some relaxation, but leave it to Roderick to do it on someone else's dime. So Ralph comes in. Ralph is Edna's oldest boy. Renee's the oldest daughter. To my recollection, Ralph is high school age. Roderick, I'm not sure, maybe junior high school age. All I know is they told me, according to his birth records, he was younger than me. I'm not sure if I'm older or younger. Ralph comes in, and I happen to be a witness. I don't know where I was sitting in relation to those two, and this is our after school. We was over there at Edna's house. Edna took us in after school for a good, the whole time I was under 18, so we get dropped off over there. Ralph come up in there like king of the castle. They all was like king when Ed wasn't around. And Ed knew about it, Rolling Stone. And so, did you leave my system on all night? I don't know if it's all day, all night. Roderick was asleep. He was asleep, and so he asked me. This is really what made him mad. I had to ask him twice. Did you leave my system on all night? Yeah, I like the music. You like the what? This is Roderick. Then Roderick and Ralph. Ralph saying you like the what? Roderick said the music. It helps me relax. But you did it to my. Everything after that is a blur and a blank. I don't remember what happened after that, but that was like I can remember talking to somebody about that sometime after it happened, and I believe he burnt up the motor on that Dreamcast, and it never worked again. After that, he blew up his system watching. But excellent choice though, Final Fantasy, one of the Final Fantasies, because I asked someone like, what game was it that he was falling asleep on the music, and I was thinking, don't get no bright ideas and try it. But yeah, this is the triflingness of Roderick. He somebody else's system, and he did that. You know, looking back on it, hindsight. That whole family was so spoiled that he probably did it out of jealousy. Maybe Ralph got a gift and he didn't, because I could see some shit like that with that's just how they were, and I didn't see it then. But I'm getting older now. But yeah, that's enough on Cousin Roderick. But yeah, I remember that story like it was yesterday, and it was a big stink about that between those two. I don't know if they talked for a while. They patched it. I don't think they were ever the same after that. And they never were close because Roderick was the baby out of 4 kids. And from what my mom told me, Ralph was a titty baby. She said she tried to babysit him a couple times, and as soon as Edna left, he just cried and whined. And she said, I don't know if you ever had to babysit a child like that. She said, but Ralph was annoying as hell when he was a baby. I was thinking to myself, I couldn't be real with my mom, but I was thinking to myself, if you knew how he is in high school, that I was thinking, a lot of shit makes sense to me now, the way how he is. Ralph's a mama's boy. So that made sense to me. I didn't tell her that because I didn't trust my mother, because she had lied to me about so much stuff. But yeah, Raphael Montgomery, I used to know his middle name, but he is even more offensive than Roderick, so more dangerous. It's an act of God that I survived that family, with the exception of Renee. I didn't have no issues with Renee, and knew all this shit was happening to me under her roof and did nothing. But she figures I owe her something because she kept me out of the system. But I'm gonna tell you something, God worked a miracle in my life, and he got me away from Edna when things were good. So I didn't choke the shit out of her, and vice versa, because Edna is not weak. Edna is a fighter like me, and people can get overwhelmed by emotions. I'm not right now, but before I got more into God and more into scripture, I wasn't thinking straight. But I made sure to get the hell away from her while I was in my right mind, because things are starting to become more clear to me now. What she did to me as a kid, And she knew the stuff was going on under her umbrella, and child abuse and shit was like going on under her. Child abuse is going on under her roof, and my mom talking to me about it, like, yeah, Edna, my mom confessed it, like, but she made sure y'all kids wasn't involved in it. I'm not gonna get into what was said because I'm not gonna Bill Cosby her and her husband, but because it's so much time has passed, and I don't want anything to do with them. But she knew some shit was going on under her roof and didn't protect us. So as I'm starting to recall these memories, I'm becoming more distant from my aunt. At one time, I loved her and adored her, but the more I get to know and the more root cause of the story, I don't love her anymore, and I don't feel the way I once felt about her because the truth has been uncovered. And my mother just came to me and said, well, that couldn't have happened to you because she said you were in a different room in the house when that was happening to those other kids, and she kept a watch on you. And so she forced me to recall some memories. And the whole point, I left Mississippi when I was on good terms with my aunt. And there were just things that would kind of jog my memory. And I just said, why would my aunt do that to me? And I didn't know it was happening, but God made a play for me to leave town while things were still good between us. So I could say that I left town, and now that is Roderick's problem now. And that's for a while there, I was caretaker for his mother. Go by there, check on her, get her garbage, do stuff like that. I never told anybody till now. Ongoing, I was her husband also. She's got her own damn husband. Because her own kids, I never could figure out why her kids took off. Renee, I'm not going to rat out Renee. So I'm just going to stay off the topic of Renee. But the other boys disappeared. And I'm thinking, hey, I'm about to follow their lead. You ain't about to ditch me with this witch. My mama used to call her a witch. And I always knew my aunt was fake. Now that part I knew, I just couldn't figure out, like, I don't know how to get out, how to get away from her. Like, I didn't know how to, but God had it all sorted out. So what I'm gonna tell y'all now is, I'm lucky to be here. There's so many drugs in my system. We all did. We're lucky to be here. Lucky that we came back from that. There's a whole lot more about Roderick that I don't remember. And, I think that's enough for this session. That's enough about the Montgomerys. But I just recalled something. The Montgomerys used to take these trips. It was always like a competition between our family, the Poor family, and the Montgomery family. Like, that was just like the stupidest thing. My mom used to try to compete anyhow. Poor family assuming the role of a black family is the role my mom wanted to portray. Even though my brother's a heavy Indian and people keep telling me, the different races I look like. So then, I don't need to get into all that. It's not easy to talk about. So Edna married a military man. My mom passed us off as black. And and she says the story was, which I can't verify this story, all right? Going off what I was told. The story was my mom worked at Josette's as a seamstress. The story was, I never realized how scripted it was. We all have a script, right? 4 kids from 4 different fathers. And I realize how shady that sounds now, But if you think about it would work. She picked the perfect timeline. 80s, Nick was in the 70s, me and my brothers was in the 80s. You could get away with something like that and just fall into a stereotype. So the lie worked because, she said that in the 80s. And that was very typical for a black woman to have 4 different baby daddies, be on welfare. So she just told a bold-faced lie, and it was believable because I don't know if my mom was black or not, but she was. That's the lie she told because she was able to get systematic things, and so thank God that's not my problem anymore. So anyway, the competition was those two always competing. Edna, I didn't know it at the time, but Edna and my mother were always trying to outdo each other. So the Montgomerys, once a year around Christmas or in the summer, would leave us and go to Disney World or Disneyland, one of the two, I can't remember. It used to irk my mom. I just used to go in my room and cry. I never thought about it before. And then over the years, I'm not gonna get into who these people are, but I met other people who found out I didn't go and did the same thing. And as I'm talking to the deer, talking to God right now, I don't think I ever wanted to go. I never knew what I wanted, but thinking about it, I'm not that big on Disney. And I didn't want to go to Universal Studios. I think I just didn't know how to think for myself. So, but as an automatic thing, I'm talking like real small. Like when before her and Ed got estranged. So that would have meant I was like grade school age when they were leaving us and going to Disney World. So I'm at an age where you cry about stuff like that. When people gaslighted me in my 30s about that in my old life, it didn't hurt my feelings at all. But these people were so dangerous, I had to, it's the reason I'm recalling this memory. I had to play it off like it bothered me because they were just that dangerous. And laughing at a joke that they told that wasn't funny, it's safer to just, right, you get it. You get what I'm trying to say. So it was like they would take us to their remedial trips. Like they took us to Six Flags once time. And they would invite us over to their home. But when it came to their wealth events, like, we were embarrassment to them. And so that's what that was the ongoing dispute between my aunt Edna and my mother Herbie. They were always in competition and jealous of each other. My mom finally, I don't know if she was drunk when she confessed this, but she told me Chalks set Edna up with Ed, and my mom said Ed was the one that she wanted. Ed. My mom said she wanted Ed, but Edna grabbed him up first. So she said Chalks was setting people up, and so my mom was still bitter about that. So that could have been part of it. She did that when I was like in my late 30s. My mother confessed that to me in my late 30s. I forget how old I was, and so these two were just always competing. Jealous. My mom was jealous because of that, and Ed was military. From what like I said, I couldn't verify if he was or wasn't. What I was told was that he was military, from whoever told me, and so they were wealthy, and they had bought a little house. The house ain't bad. It ain't bad looking house. And so my mom, and I believe Edna was jealous of my mother because my mom had her own money and didn't have to depend on anybody else and check in with anybody. My mom had independence and she had different investments and didn't have to answer to no man, but Edna had to answer to. So they both had wealth in their own way, and they were jealous of each other one way or the other. And they put us kids, that happens with children, in the middle of their custody fight. They put us in the middle of it, and so I just spent like a lot of time crying, and that's why I'm not defending him, even though that's normal for a woman to do that with a man. I'm not defending Roderick, but there's a reason he screwed up. And there's a reason I'm screwed up, and there's a reason that me and him don't talk anymore. And his wife is probably jealous of me, I'm pretty sure he told her that we grew up together, and that's a story. I'm lucky that I got out of that. That one ended good too. The last time I saw them in public, it did not go bad. I'm not gonna get into his wife's name, but I can't say the same for anybody else. Last encounter with Roderick, but my last encounter with him was really good, and I decided to. I didn't know it, but God did it. Bow out while things were good between me and him. I want to put something on this, but it just feels good to scratch. letting it breathe. That's what I'm trying to figure out how to put into words. Yeah, it's breathing right now because ain't no cream on it, and I just got the shower, and it feels good. And God damn it. Roach. Roach people, I'm okay. Alright, so maybe it's Roderick's spirit in that roach. So as I was saying, my rash is breathing and I don't want any cream on it right now. But yeah, so those spirits, those ghosts, I didn't realize was haunting me. I didn't know that stuff was still haunting me. And so Roderick and his wife, and but it would be safer to comply. Yeah, they were that dangerous. He was already dangerous by himself, but he felt he met somebody equally dangerous to him. So if they ever did track me down and find me, I'd be safer to talk to him. I never did like talking to him then, and I'm not sure as hell don't like talking to him now. And I try to make amends. I feel the same way about his wife. She is equally creepy and weird as Roderick. I'm not going to get into her name. They may not even be married anymore. Like old times, if he wants to talk, I might have to. A couple times he used to IM me on Facebook. You know, as women, I told you we like that. We don't understand. Somebody be after us, we don't be getting it. But anyway, so I think that's good enough on Roderick. I think because it's stressing me out to talk about it. So I never like I said, I think that's all on Roderick. I might can't help it. Because God has got him on my heart for a reason, and I keep meeting all these guys that remind me of him. But I'm going to tell you that I never realized it, but Roderick saw that Tyson was sorry. He saw that he was a sorry-ass man, and I think he just taunted me with it. He knew how bad I wanted kids, family, and the kind of guy who was a provider and supportive. And I just think Roderick was just one big mind game with anybody who crossed his path. I think he still is now. Yeah, a mind game. And it's all a ruse. Like I said, my brother came to me and said he talked to Edna like that. I was like, no, he didn't. Because Roderick is like, yes, sir, no, ma'am. I'm starting to recall it now. He didn't tell her, all you bought me was a stupid watch. And I remember now Roderick was laughing and like, no, he's like, I ain't do that. I ain't do that, cuz. I'm trying to think. I thought it was something else that Roderick did. And yeah, I don't know what he did. And Ed, his daddy, finally was home. Every now and again, Ed was home. I didn't complain because Ed was so creepy. He used to walk around his drawers with a boner. You could see the bulge and tighty whities. He used to walk around. When I was in high school, he'd walk around in his underwear. And my mom was sick because he didn't want us over there. Because him and Edna both used to do it. And I wasn't ratting him out, but she just used to grill us about what happened when we was over there. And so Ed had an accent. I don't know if it was a fake accent or if it was real. Either way, it was fun. It was just fun to hear him sound Caribbean and shit. So Roderick was laid up in the middle of the day, and Ed came out, and I knew I was scared as shit. It's unusual for him to be out in the daytime, not heading to the fridge. He's like typical stereotypic guy when he's the provider if he is abusive. Not all men are like this. Some men like to pitch in even though it's woman's work and help the woman out. Even though he's doing the bills, there's some men who still, so I ain't trying to bag on men. I come a long way with this. So he come out swinging, get out, get out, get out. Roger, get out, get out. And I was like, he picked him up like a pro wrestler. He had Roderick dangling. Roderick is high school age. Roderick was a tall motherfucker. He always was tall. He picked him up, his light skinned ass up, Ed dark skin. And Roderick began to, it was like slow motion, run. As he's being held, he is trying to get away from the belt. And I don't know what Roderick did to get that whooping. And Ed never policed him in front of me. Ed had an image too. That's where Roderick get it from. He get it from his daddy. And that was the first time Ed got off. He broke his character in front of me. And that scared me because I was like, he'd always had this Family Guy image in front of me. Like, he didn't want me to see who he really was. So I was scared to death like I'm next. Somebody told that to me once. The man, a guy cares about you. I'm going to hurry in this story because it's spooking me. He cares about you if he's lying to you. He cares about you. And I'm like, he at that point stopped lying to me. And he was showing me who he really was. So I was scared of Ed. I don't remember if anything happened to me. But from what I recall, another blank after that. After he whooped Roger and beat him with that belt. I don't know what Roderick did. But I was thinking justice was served because Roderick, he the kind of type you got to watch. So if he felt the need to do that shit in front of me, I was like, it must have been pretty bad. I was scared to know what Roderick had done. I figured it was something of a sexual nature because he was always getting in trouble for doing something offensive sexually. And I was like, he must have done something sexual. Like, he might have left sperm somewhere or something. That's just how nasty he was. So he might have. At that age, that's not unusual for little boys to be jerking off and just leave at high school age, just walk in on them and just doing, not cleaning the shit up, just nasty. So I figured it must be something like that. Even at the high school age, I figured he must have done something sexual and thought his daddy was weak. So that I'll never get that. Get out, get out. So one time I told somebody, I don't know if it was Joel, I was like, Roger got his ass whooped right in front of me. Get out, get out, get out. Hey there, Lisa. That's how Ed used to talk. And he had like curly, his hair was curly. He used to always have a little fro. How Herbie doing? And he wasn't the most educated. That's what I said. I don't know if he really was military or not. He didn't. But then again, the standards might have been pretty low for the 70s. But who knows? My last abuser, said it the best. Some men tell the greatest lies. They will say they are the commander, the chief. They'll have 30, 20-something jobs, and then none of it is true. So it's possible that was all a lie. And if you have to question it, and it probably is, if your gut is telling you something otherwise, and my gut is telling me, I don't know what about these people is actually true. So, Roger got that ass whooped. I remember Roger was in a wife beater, so was Ed. And I don't know if these two was dressed or not, but arm was just like twisted up. It had to have been something disturbing. I felt it. I felt something disturbing. And I was in shock. I didn't mean to like stay there and watch. Because they might have didn't want an audience, or maybe he did. Maybe that's what saved my life, is that I watched. Maybe he wanted to make an example out of him, show him who the man of the house was. Because whatever the case was, I did not move from that spot. And he did it. It was so creepy because there wasn't no other kids around. So I was really scared. I don't know what the other kids were in relation to the house. So that might have been why everything happened the way it happened with Ed and Roger. Because Edna wasn't watching us. She never was. My mom used to always say, Edna was never, I'm paying Edna some money, she ain't watching y'all, but yet she's still dropping us off over there. They both was always shifting the blame on the other one. And so this is my childhood. And I'm checking with God to see how much to put out there publicly. Let's see what this rash is doing. Let's see what it's looking like. Yeah, see it. I got kind of irritated. Nah, I'm doing it sound like Ed. Yeah, I'm lucky to be alive today. What else about Roger? We used to go to a Navy base together with his dad's. Again, this is what I'm told. His dad's credentials. This is before all this weird shit started happening on American soil. Again, I don't know if this is true or not. I didn't watch the news much when I was a kid because my mom made sure, like Kyle, she didn't want me getting too much knowledge and information. So we used to go to Navy base together. Me and all the kids. I can't recall who all those kids were, but Roderick was there with me. And I used to hate going because he was with me. Like, God, he was a cockblock. I was high school age, trying to hook me a military man, and he would be right underneath me like a husband. Not my brothers, but Roderick. That's the one who acted like a brother. If I was trying, the intent was to get married right in high school, get pregnant. I never told anybody till now, but I had a plan. Once Domino's fired me, I was like, because Kevin was on me about stuff. That's how long I've known Kevin Bailey. I was like, he was on me about so many different things. I'm like, any moment now he's going to fire me. I would have never known I was going to go on and work there a lifetime. So someone married me a military man. I'm like, I'm high school age. I'm the prime age that they want. They ain't going to want me once I'm like 30-something. I was like 20-something. So I got to get me a military man right now. Well, I'm still able to get knocked up. And I remember... they didn't know, but that was where I wanted to go. Every time I went, I was hoping on a Navy base, and I did date. His name was Ray. It turned out he was a liar. He already had a wife and a newborn, because I was like, and I came off way too desperate. I was like, can I speak to Ray? And I remember we had a couple of phone calls, we had a couple of dates whenever my cousins ditched me on base and went God knows where, and my brothers, and he was like, I can't talk to you right now. I'm like, why not? Because my wife is here and our baby, my newborn. And I was like, oh my God. I was like about high school age then. And I could hear like the baby in the background. So I don't know how I got out of that. I don't remember. I just want to say I remember not calling him again, but it was so traumatic. I knew all he wanted was sex. I was like, I finally got me. He wasn't bad looking. I was like, I finally got me it was a black dude. He looked like he could have been a model. And, for all I know, he could have just been doing what we was doing. So maybe that worked out. He could have not, really been military. He might have just been on base, like what we was doing, using somebody else's dime. So that worked out. I assumed because he had muscles and he was on base that he was really military. So Ray lied to me, said he was married. We were really hitting it off. He saw that I was stranded and my folks left me on base by myself and I was just in high school. There was a couple of guys that asked me out in the military, but we ended up getting stationed in different and he was really, I felt something crawling me. He was really tall. Both of these men were really tall, so I was looking at that too, the Gene. But they stepped to me, though. They actually stepped to me. I got that from some lingo from some idiots I hang around. But yeah, I was looking at, what the baby gonna look like, so that I'm like, tall men, in case they don't take after me. I was like, these men are good looking. So yeah, I was thinking about, God, it's not leading me to stop this footage, and I'm so tired. Let's see if I can get this Bible over here. Oh my ass, it's hitting me right in the ass. Yeah, we used to go on that Navy base and work out. We used to use because I was going to the military. And I knew high school age I had to line something up for when Domino's ran out. And I was like, I can't be working at a pizza place out of high school. I was like, that's what losers do. I never thought I'd be working there. I mean, that's how I'm going to be an astronaut. That's how all high school, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with dreaming big. You might actually want to be an astronaut. You have parents that encourage you and you smart as hell. But I did not have the encouragement family, and God is leading me not to stop this feed, and I'm falling asleep on y'all. I do apologize, but it's that imperative to put this message out if he's keeping me awake. And I got a big day tomorrow. So let me tell you something. We used to go there, work out in the weight room in the gym. And then sometimes, like I said, they used to ditch me, and I just stuck with it. I stuck with it, kept working out. I gotta go to CTA headquarters tomorrow, and I can't say why publicly. And which one is the worst one of these? So yes, yeah, it's getting there. It's starting to get get there. Yeah, don't be I'm starting to babble like old man.